Welcome back, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium-free crypto channel. Today we're looking at Bitcoin and a potential final crash. I know it's been the theme of the last several days and obviously weeks that the market could tank, waiting for this crash. So in today's video, I want to cover the news, the good, the bad, put that all together again, look at the charts, which is what I primarily look at. Obviously, that's been my forte over the last 11 years as a trader and investor. And I've been doing this investing for 15 years, trading for 11. So my main aim here is to cut through the noise. You might be getting sick of the amount of crypto influencers on YouTube, Twitter, wherever the hell they are, just looking at news, giving you some sort of video documentary of the news and possibly talking too much like myself. However, today's video, I am determined we're going to make it a short video, look at the news and remember where we've come from over the last 4 to 6 weeks and what the news has actually done. I'm going to tell you now, it is primarily noise. We need to understand the important the fundamental drivers which are changing the investments that we're in. But overall, the news is just there for clicks. Yes, we're here on YouTube. We're making daily videos. We need to get the clicks. We want to see people succeed. So if you are succeeding in your endeavors and your investing, let me know in the comments down below. I do enjoy reading those and I do post them on Twitter when something really amazing pops up. So drop your comments down below. Let us know your thoughts about this. Like the video up if you're interested in more of the content that I'm putting out. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon. All the good stuff is in the description down below. So I'm following on from this video here. Embrace fear. New investors, if you ever see comments about the market is going, people saying that they're putting out FUD and that they're scared of something and that the person who's talking about it is FUD, I generally think they're new investors, mainly because they're still understanding the difference between what the news is trying to tell us and how we're interpreting that and what's happening on the market and actually how much influence someone of my channel would have on Bitcoin. Next to nothing, absolutely nothing, I would say. And so I'm just preparing for what I hope happens, and I hope for all of us that we get lower prices on Bitcoin because there'll be lower prices on altcoins and we can buy cheaper cryptocurrencies, cheaper investments so that we get bigger, much bigger returns when the market continues up again. And I'm still of the position that the market is going up. I've been saying about 6 to 12 months of bear market or prices beneath the old all-time high. If you don't want to use the term bear market because you think it's FUD, but that's essentially what I'm looking at. So if I can get cheaper, discounted investments, that's what I want. So this video goes into it in more detail. We've looked at altcoins. The reason why I haven't been buying some, however, some are starting to show some signs of increases. But the main thing here is to remember the news today. And I want to remind you about this. BTC USD shorts. Do you remember when this was popping up in June and then again in late June? BTC shorts means that the shorts are going to get a short squeeze. We're going to get a pump to the upside. What happened? No one covers this because they just post about it saying, this is what's going to happen. Guess what happened? Next to nothing. And this isn't just a one-off. I've looked at this. I've done a little bit of research on this. And if you're going to put the time in, go back and look at all of these times when it was supposed to be a massive short squeeze. Some will work. Some will be a short squeeze, meaning that the amount of short positions on a market, people betting the market will go down, get squeezed, and they have to cover their position and buy back, which makes the market burst up really quickly. So this is shorts. Shorts were up really high back in June. I remember it online as well. Nothing happened. This is the exact day for Bitcoin. Shorts are up 9th of June. Nothing. Look at it as a percentage. There's the close, the peak. What do we get? 9%. This is nothing in cryptocurrency. So this is just reminding us, if we see short squeeze come up again, the probabilities of it actually playing out to be a short squeeze and getting a pump to the upside are less. Doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means that it's less likely to happen. All right, so just remember that because shorts looks like they're coming back again. This is one of the posts that came back from June. Crypto Twitter says Bitcoin shorts are increasing. If you can hear the tone of my voice, I'm kind of, it sounds like I'm sick of hearing about these sorts of news pieces because when you've been doing it for so long, and I hope that for you guys that you do manage to do it for a long time, stay in the markets, you just see the same thing roll over and over again and people get really excited thinking this time is different. And this is an old saying that No, it's not. This time is not different. They're the four most costly words in an investor's language. This time it's different. And that was said by Sir John Templeton, late Sir John Templeton. So he was an investor as well, British investor. Now, of course, the title of the video is around, is this the final crash? Is this the end? Are we going to finally see this crash that we're after? I'm looking at here, piece of news from June. Yes, I know it's 4 weeks old. Remember, if we're going to improve, we need to research the history and look back, remind ourselves of what has happened in the past. Huge, big news. 98% of CFOs say their hedge funds will have invested in Bitcoin by 2026. Massive, right? This news came out. Guess what happened? Nothing. Market went down. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to build up here is the news will tell us one thing. Influencers find good pieces of news. We all do it, and you put it online. But I try to explain why it's not that important at that specific point in time, but it might be flags to think about in the future moving forward. Some people tend to buy particularly off this, and I've never seen that to work very consistently from my experience. So we got good news. I think this will probably happen, but we just have to wait it out. So there's still good stuff to come, which is why I'm talking about overall Bitcoin is looking solid fundamentally. People are getting interested. Everything is still getting built on it. But if we get lower prices, that's the time that personally I'm looking to be buying up. And I wish the best for everyone as well if that's their position in the markets. I'm not trying to wish the market down so people lose money. This is part of the strategy to be buying low and selling high, not buying and then just hoping it goes to the moon and never comes back. Elizabeth Warren out with a bit of FUD, giving the SEC July 28 deadline to figure out regulations. So we're seeing a lot of FUD around regulations coming out. You may have seen more news on Elizabeth Warren. Most of the time when she speaks, I don't understand why, but I don't think she has a very good grasp of whatever cryptocurrency is. Despite the rising popularity of crypto, a lack of common sense regulations has left ordinary investors at the mercy of manipulators and fraudsters. I'm of the view that if you're getting screwed by cryptocurrency or whatever investments you're in, it can be absolutely anything. You should probably take a step back, set yourself a plan, do some research, and stop getting screwed. All right. I assume most of you guys here aren't the people that are, but if you are, just use it as an experience and grow from it and improve what you're doing. Personally, I am against, that's my opinion, I'm against government getting involved and blocking people from learning. You know, if this is a path they want to take, and they want to learn about investing, they should be free to do that. It's their money, it's their choice. If you're going to get manipulated, just make sure you don't go all in on something and learn from the experience, okay? So that's just one thing when it comes to government trying to regulate the cryptocurrency industry. They probably will do it. It'll probably scare the market. Long term, we understand, or hopefully we understand, that cryptocurrency can't be stopped from governments because it is just out there in the ecosystem and doing what it does best. It is decentralized. Grayscale. Here are the news headlines. Grayscale unlocking poses downside risk to Bitcoin price. Bitcoin price will likely shrug off $500 million GBT unlock in July. So this is coming up tomorrow. So hopefully you guys are watching this now, or if you're seeing it in the future, you're able to look back on the news. This is why I still look at older news. It can be a few days old, it can be a few months old, but I love seeing how the news has played out and how much something was given attention and how much energy it had at the time, January, February, March, whatever, and then seeing what actually happened during that market cycle. And more often than not, it is kind of just a blip on the radar. The main things that drive the market are the solid fundamentals and obviously the adoption of whatever it is, investment that you're looking at, the use of it. In the case of Apple, it's adopted, it's growing, it's building products that people are using, so it's being adopted. Bitcoin, it's being adopted. In between, doesn't really matter. And this goes on with Michael Saylor's view of the market and how he invests in his investments. He just sees Bitcoin, it has very, very strong fundamentals. In his view, you buy on the dips, which is my view. I like to get it when it's cheap and then continue to hold. Looking at more GBT, this is just to give us an idea. This is trading at a discount. So this is the shares on Grayscale for Bitcoin. So it's for institutions to be able to purchase Bitcoin so they don't have to go through and take 6 or so months to set up funds to be able to purchase cryptocurrency because they have to go through a lot of other regulations. So they can just use Grayscale. And this is Bitcoin that's trading at a discount for them. And so if you're trading on a discount, I don't think someone's going to dump out all of their funds in order to potentially wait for it to drop further and buy back. So the discount at the moment is about 11 or so percent, about 5 to 10%. So this is what the GBT is. It's about 5 to 10% cheaper than what the Bitcoin price is. So if we look at that at 10%, it's about $3,500 off what it currently is. So this is why I guess you get pieces of news saying that Bitcoin will likely shrug off the 500 million unlock. It's probably closer to about 1 billion when you take into account how many Bitcoin over the number of days that we're seeing. So we got 16,000 happening this week. We have 2,000 happening in a couple of days, and then another 2,000, another 5,000. So this is all the shares of Bitcoin that are becoming unlocked from the Grayscale, the Grayscale funds. So the point here I'm trying to make is you've got a lot of news to the upside, probably not going to sell off. You've got a lot of news to the downside. There's a lot of Bitcoin being unlocked. The main thing we obviously look at is the chart. And just looking at that, trying to base it on history, I don't think there are enough data points to say either we're going to go up or down just from that, because again, we don't have much data from this whole fund, especially in a bear market at negative rates when it's only been negative since this year. So probably from about January or February, it's actually gone into the negative. Moving on, we have Wells Fargo's closing your personal line of credit. That's pretty big news for the stock market, and it seems like we're getting this massive collapse theory coming about for the stock market as well. At the end of the day, this again is going to be water under the bridge in months to come. And why would you believe what I'm saying? Some guy on the internet. I'm going with the 18-year cycle, which I have seen play out already in my 15 years of investing. This is the biggest cycle that we have. We have Bitcoin cycles, we've got 4-year cycles, we've got all this sort of stuff. But in terms of where the majority of the money is in the world, it is in land, and land is led in around this cycle here. You don't believe me? Check out The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking. This is where the 18.6-year cycle comes from. We are currently in a mid-cycle dip, which is why we're getting a lot of this turmoil in the markets at the moment. 2021 is going to be a little bit rocky. This was already said by the author several years ago. And so we've seen this coming up. So this is a rocky year. We'll get some lows, we'll get some highs. It's just a volatile year. 2022, potentially similar, but we start to make our way out of this into an explosive phase later this decade, and things are going to get extremely crazy. So this sort of news is just noise to scare investors out and be able to purchase stocks, assets at cheaper prices. I've seen this already for several years with my own experience, with my own money in the markets, and I'm just expecting that to happen again. If it does happen again, if we see some fear in the next couple of days, you can be sure that we'll see the extreme fear, the fear and greed index drop to 15 or below, and that's generally the time that we like to buy Bitcoin, at least using this bit of a plan that I've put together on the channel. You can find that over here in the videos. Go and check that out. There'll be a link at the end of this video as well to understand how I've started creating this simple plan. You know the saying, buy the dip. You hear dollar cost averaging all the time, but if there's no plan around it as to when you should buy, then it's just as good as the hot air that it's been said with. So create yourself a plan, have a look at fear and greed, stick around to the end of the video, click on that video. Bitcoin, I'm going to get into this in a further video, a future video, just to keep this one nice and short. I'm looking at volatility squeezes on a weekly basis. You can see it there. It looks like we're coming close to it. Volume is drying up. Generally, we've seen some down periods as the market's down. I'll check this out in a video this week. So make sure you've hit like, subscribe, bell notification icon. Let us know your thoughts down below. Is this the final crash that we are beginning to see in the market? Definitely going through this again, as I want to cover some support and resistance levels as a worst case scenario. And then of course, a best case scenario, because long term, I'm still very bullish on cryptocurrency. Short term, it's okay to have some corrections. Cover this in future videos. Thanks once again for sticking around. Let me know your thoughts down below with the questions I've asked throughout the video. I'll see you on Instagram for daily Q&As. Go and ask your questions over there now. Twitter for crypto news. and free newsletter to the Investor Accelerator. Link is down below. Drop your email address and name. Free newsletter comes out once every 2 weeks. So jump aboard with that, and I'll catch you guys at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.